These are red flags early on in dating for both men and women.
The biggest red flags when dating someone.
Welcome back to the Dating View. In today's video, men and women break down what they believe are the biggest dating red flags in 2025. From early warning signs and unhealthy behaviors to patterns they've seen repeatedly in modern dating, people share what they now look out for and why these red flags matter more than ever. If you enjoy videos like this, make sure to hit the like button and don't forget to subscribe for more.
Here are some of my dating red flags as a 25-year-old who's trying to date. This one might be a bit controversial, but if there's any sign of a female friend, I am absolutely running for the hills. I don't want my man to have a lot of female friends. It's just not something that I'm comfortable with. And if he doesn't want me to have a lot of male friends, then I would respect that as well. What is it that you're getting from these female friends that you wouldn't get from your partner? And maybe that's just me being very insecure or a bit protective over this imaginary man. But I just don't feel comfortable with my man going out with another woman. Anyone that has very strong political beliefs towards anti-immigration. As a first-generation immigrant, I just don't really see myself being with anyone that doesn't believe that people have the right to move to a different country for a better life. And I just wouldn't feel comfortable introducing them to my family, my friends. The red flag is someone that goes out a lot and parties and drinks and does a lot of drugs. I feel like I'm in a different stage in my life where I want to be at home all the time. I'm just comfortable being in my own space. And if someone is constantly going out every single weekend, drinking, doing God knows what, I just don't think that that's the lifestyle that I want. One that has little to no ambition in life. And I don't necessarily mean that you have to want to climb a corporate ladder or you want to be the best footballer in the world. I want someone to push me to be a better person and vice versa. I don't think that you should feel confident in where you are in life all the time, because then you just don't really progress anywhere. Someone that is happy to talk online but has no intentions or any plans to meet up in person. I want to meet someone quite early on, because I just think once you text someone for a long time, you start to fabricate who they are as a person. And for me, the only way that you actually truly know if you like someone is if you meet them in person, you get to know them. And if you set up no expectations and no plans to meet up, then I don't really see the need to keep messaging each other. These are my red flags. I'm not saying that every woman feels the exact same way, but these are some things that I personally don't enjoy. And I don't think that I would date someone if they showed these signs.
WLW red flags to look out for. Part 3. I think I made a few. When she says she wants a relationship but always changes the subject or runs away from defining anything between you two. When she gets jealous, which is okay, but instead of opening up and being like, hey, this makes me insecure, or like, I'm jealous right now, because those are normal feelings, she says it's her being overprotective. This one, she flirts with everyone and then says it's her personality. And I don't mean like flirt like playfulness. I mean like she really does want people to like her. Like her. And she knows what she's doing. Some people really are a little bit nicer and more flirty with their tone, which is normal, whatever, to some people. But I mean like she really is intending to make people feel some type of way. She makes you earn the bare minimum. She never apologizes, she just gets quiet. All of her relationships have failed because of the other person. There's never any accountability when you ask her about like her past or anything. Never asks you about your past. She wants girlfriend and wife privileges without the title. And she wants those girlfriend and wife privileges because she wants you to show her your like who you are and your worth and how you're going to treat her. But then like low-key showing her you're giving her those things without her earning it herself. When you express your anxiety or a need or how you feel, she gets defensive. She only checks in and shows effort when you're mentally checked out. She likes having to chase you instead of just it being halfway. She wants you to fix every problem or take initiative, but she won't meet you halfway. She's just gonna sit there and wait for you to handle it all. Run.
5 dating red flags I wish I knew sooner. Number 1, the one who puts in so much energy in the beginning and then as soon as they get your attention, they pull back. That is someone who's trying to position you to chase them. Number 2, the one who's constantly comparing you to their ex, and I mean in a good way. Oh, wow, you are nothing like her. She would have never done this. Wow, you are amazing. My ex would have never. Be careful, because sometimes that can be a sign of someone who's trying to just idealize you and you're just there to fill a role versus just another human being they're trying to connect with. Number 3, the one who turns up the energy, but only when they can feel that you're pulling back. Number 4, the one who punishes versus resolving. The way someone behaves when they don't get what they want will tell you everything you need to know about them. And number 5, the misunderstood loner. This is the person who no one understands them. Oh, they always think I'm this, people think I'm that, people think I'm this. Let me be your reminder, a lot of toxic people will tell you exactly who they are at the beginning. I need you to believe them. My name's Aisha, and if this is your first time seeing my face, I share lessons, tips, growth advice, and just things that have helped me on my personal journey. So if this was helpful, make sure you follow for more.
Here are the things you want to avoid while you're dating, because you don't want to end up heartbroken or getting ghosted or crying into a bag of hot Cheetos at 2 o'clock in the morning. I've definitely done that. Learn from my mistakes, learn from the mistakes from some of the women I've spoken to. We all took the L, so you hopefully don't have to. And this is exactly why women need to use Magneta. It's basically ChatGPT for women, and it's completely free in the App Store. So Magneta breaks down a man's behavior in seconds. If you are dating, type in the scenario, type in what he did, and the app is going to help you translate it before you get too attached to another red flag. Okay, number 1, the hangout hero. If he never ever takes you on a real date and he only just wants to chill at either your place or watch something at his place, no ma'am, no, that is not romantic. That is pure laziness. Okay? There's no effort there. It costs $0 to show effort. It costs $0 to plan. And just so you know, that is exactly how he's going to treat you in the relationship, with 0 effort. So if he can't even make a plan to go on a date, then what makes you think he's going to be able to handle a relationship? Number 2 is the Snapchat special. Listen, if he asks you for your Snap, girl, instead of your number, it's giving red flag. Not all men, but most men who are asking for the Snap, the translation is he's either cheating or has somebody at home or just wants to flirt with a dozen girly pops without leaving any evidence behind, okay? Either way, I would delete him faster than a disappearing message. Number 3 is the classic love bummer. You know what I'm talking about. The "you're my soulmate, you come be the queen of my country, I want you to have my children" kind of guy after 3 days. Okay? We all know that's not love. That is emotional caffeine. They rush in, they make you feel dizzy and loopy, and then they'll ghost you before they even know your middle name. If it starts out like fireworks on the 4th of July, it usually ends like smoke after a California wildfire. Number 4 is the ex-talker. If every single story of his circles back to, "my ex used to do this," or "my ex used to do that," my ex, honey, you're not dating him. You're dating his unfinished therapy session. And if she's still living rent-free in his conversations, then she's still living rent-free in his head. And I don't know about you, but I don't want to do the throuple, sister wives thing, okay? Especially not the emotional thruples. No, thank you. Number 5, ignoring the red flags, period. Listen, if he's making you uncomfortable, maybe it's the way he talks, maybe it's the jokes he says, maybe it's the way he touches you, anything he says, if you're feeling uncomfortable, it's because your silence is telling him that that's okay. Once you normalize bad behavior, it becomes the new standard. And listen, if you tell him and he adjusts, great, that's a beige flag. We can work with that. But if he doesn't, then bye. You are not a rehab center for men who refuse to grow up. So yeah, dating these days is like an Olympic sport, but with therapy bills instead of medals. I've got a ton more of these red flags to look out for. So if you want part 2, girl, just say the word, because if we can't avoid the red flags, at least we can learn to spot them before they ruin our mascara.
These are red flags early on in dating for both men and women. If anyone displays these, you should proceed with caution before you get attached and further commit. Okay, number 1 is going to be too much too soon. This one is very obvious, but it is either love bombing, where they're flooding you with attention, gifts, affection, whatever, and it's strictly performative. They're only doing this to gain your initial attachment or control over you. It's very manipulative and it's not going to last. And unfortunately, the only way that you can tell is within time, because over time they're not going to be able to keep up with this persona that they created. But either way, yeah, they're not doing it because they're just like this amazing person. They're doing this because they want you to think they are an amazing person. Or second, it's limerence, okay? They have created this fantasy version of you in their head, and that's what they like so much. If you think about it, how is someone liking you over a 2-week period of time? They don't know anything about you. Oh, but I like you so much. You're my dream girl, blah, blah. You don't know anything about me. You don't know my trauma. You don't know my past. You don't know my mood swings. Like, you don't know anything about me. So how do you like me so much? What do you like about me? You like this fantasy that you created in your head and you form this infatuation with, but it's not real. And once they get to know you and the reality doesn't align with this fantasy, their feelings are going to dissipate. Whatever goes up must come down. You know what I mean? Okay, the next one's going to be poor communication. If someone is only hitting you up sporadically, there's a couple things that could be going on. One, they have someone else in the picture and you are not the main priority, honey. You're just a backup plan, okay? And they're just keeping you around for validation, attention, whatever. Or two, they just don't even really like you that much. And again, they're just keeping you around because it's entertaining. And I'm not saying you guys have to text all day, every day. We're adults, we're not doing that, okay? That's not healthy, but they will show up consistently and it will be very intentional, okay? It's gonna be healthy communication. Someone who can go days without talking to you or hit you up very dry at night at like one point, you know, like they're just not interested. They don't care. And then this goes into my next one, and that's they're never asking questions about you. Okay, if they're not asking questions about you, then they have no intention of dating you long term, or they're just full of themselves. They're narcissistic and they only care about themselves. But anyone who is dating with the intention to date long term, they're looking at you as a candidate, right? So they want to make sure you are a qualified candidate. And if they're not asking you questions, then how do they know? You know what I mean? Like, someone is going to ask questions if they want to get to know you. And if they're not asking questions, honey, that you're probably just a hookup. They don't care. You know what I mean? Okay, and then the last one is going to be they don't handle conflict well. No. Okay, so you bring up a problem to them. There's something that's making you unhappy or you're upset about something and they get defensive, argumentative, or they give you the silent treatment. What are you going to do with that in a long-term relationship? That's going to be a headache. And what are you going to do? You know what I mean? There's that saying, it's not you against them, it's you two against the problem. A pillar to a healthy relationship is healthy communication and problem solving. What are you going to do long term with someone like that? You know what I mean? If they can't take criticism or they just get defensive and can't take accountability, no, we're not doing that. All this comes from experience, by the way, guys. So that's all I have for now. If anything comes from my poor dating choices in the past is to help other people, that's great. You know what I mean? So do what you will with this information. Proceed with caution. And yeah, best of luck.
The biggest red flags when dating someone, obviously inconsistency, but there's a few others. Like if what they say and what they do just don't match up. Talking about wanting a relationship, but not really like defining anything or taking the next step. Affection one day, distance the other. Consistency is a foundation of trust. So if you don't have that, he doesn't want you, boo.
Here are just some random, insanely specific red flags that I've learned to look out for. Number one, if it's a man and he's too much of a girl's girl, but he's straight, stop. I know what you're doing. Stop it now. A man should always be a little bit confused, supportive, but confused. Like he doesn't have an opinion on Taylor versus Charlie. He doesn't know that even Taylor Swift is a musician. He should barely know that. Music that they listen to, if it's too dramatic, be like, huh, interesting. Music, reflection of the mind. Think about what they're listening to. Research that. When they tell you that they didn't think they were gonna like you before your first date. Like when they're like, oh, I thought you were gonna be this type of girl, but you're not. You're different than that. I am like that type of girl. I'm like every other girl you've ever met in your life. I'm actually worse than them. If they're talking about therapy and like their therapist a lot on the first date, there's something there. I don't know exactly what yet, but you guys think about that, digest that, come back to me, and you guys tell me because I know there's something there. Doesn't mean I know what, but there's something. Figure it out. The things they post. I'm sorry. If they're posting so drama, like things that are like with like a long caption, it's like, dude, why are you so drama? That is the person that will terrorize you over text for going out with your friends because you're abandoning them. They just look miserable on their social media, and then the captions are so cryptic, like as if we're all supposed to like feel bad for them. I don't feel bad for you at all. You're fine. The most evil people are the ones that are like so drama on their, like posting so many quotes. Where's the quote about being a good person to the people in your real life? Like, come on. They're like so set on taking you to one specific place for your first date. Interesting. If they know everyone everywhere they go, interesting. You tell me, guys. If they're calling you names jokingly, it starts as a joke. It always does. They're a man and they have a bunch of friends that are single, straight girls. Interesting. I don't know. Why aren't you dating them? So yeah.
The things that I think are immediate red flags when on a date. Number one, if they talk about how much they drink, party, or do drugs, that's an immediate no. Hey, I love to go out and have a drink, have a cocktail, go out, dance with my friends. But if you're trying to like brag to me about how much coke you do on the weekends, it's gonna be a no for me. It's just not giving long-term partner core. If you show actually zero interest in getting to know me as a person, unfortunately, I know a lot of selfish people are gonna hate to hear this, but you actually have to ask the other person questions on dates. I know, but you know, if you want to know them, you have to act interested. I remember one time on a date, a guy said, "My sister is kind of a slut." Yeah, that was a no. Flag if they didn't vote in the 2024 election, or they just don't vote in general. This was a huge point of contention in my last relationship because I'm a very active political baddie and my ex-boyfriend didn't vote. It hurt some feelings and I'm really sorry, but vaping, smoking out of dab pens, any sort of smoking, red flag to me. Like having vices like that is really bad long term, and I'm trying to live as long as possible with my partner, you know? Like I would hate to lose somebody to like lung cancer at 65. Like I just feel like that would suck. Other red flag, I hate braggers. If you're just you can talk about your interests and your passions and your accomplishments, but oh my goodness, I went on a date recently with a guy that was just a hardcore bragger, and it really just turned me off. I don't know why. I was just like, okay, that's great. It's really great. See you never. Last red flag is having no drive. Literally no drive to have any career goals whatsoever. You could have any career goal or as long as it's a passionate thing that you're interested in, I will love that for you. But if you have literally no drive to succeed at anything hard in your life, I find that to be a red flag. Just because I'm a very self-driven, motivated person, so I would not want to be with a partner that has no drive to be better than they already are.
If you suck at picking up on red flags in dating, this video is for you. I've made a list of all of my red flags. Allow me to enlighten you all. First thing, way too close with the mom or the sister. This one should be in museums. Actually, it is. It's called Freudism. It is so common, especially with like the youngest son. If I ever get the feeling that you want to screw your mom, I'm gonna let you. 2, possibly the reddest flag. I ask for anything other than your number. If you're over the age of 18 and you're asking me for my Snapchat, that is weird. Matter of fact, why do you have Snapchat? 3, oh no, this is a redder flag. This is actually the reddest of the reddest flags. Ask you to hang out but does not plan dates. Text you, do you want to hang out this weekend? No, I do not. My 8 girlfriends and I are spending hundreds of dollars on each other, going to nice dinners every single weekend. No, I don't want to go sit on your couch and watch Wolf of Wall Street with you. Dinner, Friday, 8 o'clock. 4, texting all day, every day. Good morning, what are you doing today? What are you doing now? How was your day? How are you feeling today? What did you eat? What does your hair smell like right now? Why don't you just kill all the mystery and potential romance now? That is not a boyfriend. That is an emotional support animal. And you should just get a dog. 5, chicken fingers palate. I'm sorry. If we go to dinner and you order a plain, well-done cheeseburger, I'm leaving. If you're 26 years old and you don't know what a caper is yet, if we're gonna be eating a lot together, this could get really boring really fast. 6, obsessed with their physical appearance. Putting effort into how you look, hot. The gym being your entire personality trait, that is weird. If you can't go a day without talking about how you look and how you're improving it or like critiquing yourself, something going on up there. 7, can't make decisions. Asking me what we should do this weekend, having me make the plans, asking me where we wanna go eat. No, might as well just date myself at that point. 8, broke. If you're in a place where you're not making a lot of money, you're not in a good situation, and you don't care, you're not doing anything to get out of it, no, this is the reddest red flag. Blood red flag. This is a black flag. Women know, okay? Women know if you're gonna be able to pull yourself out of this and you're gonna be fine, or if you're not. If you're doing absolutely nothing to get out of a bad situation, it's not someone you wanna date. 8, can't control his emotions. Like if he's a tantrum thrower, or he gets really worked up about things and like can't control himself, that is weird. And as if he like hates his ex, like he hates her, and he always talks about how much he hates her, and how he hates any other women that he's ever had any form of like romantic contact with. That is weird. A mature, normal person who was secure and could control himself would be like mature and nice and detached. Maybe she cheated, yeah, that sucks. I get maybe you like hate her, but if you like want her to die, there's some baggage there that I don't want to clean up. Hope this was helpful.
All right, so I just have to like survey the room here. So, is it projecting your own like experiences onto someone if you just met on a dating app And one of your like signals like for a red flag is if they FaceTime you in the car and talk to you only when they're on their way somewhere. Like, why is that even a thought? Like, why are you even thinking about FaceTiming when you're on your way somewhere? To me, it's a red flag, because it's like, you should be sat down, intentionally invested in our conversation if you're really trying to like get to know me, you know what I mean? So I've FaceTimed this person twice, and he's like, I just don't want to be persecuted for other people's mistakes. Homie, I understand. But we're just getting to know each other. You can't FaceTime me when you're not in the car.
These are my dating red flags for 2025. Number one, if a man has Snapchat in 2025, it's an immediate no. What is he doing on Snapchat? What is he keeping up with? There's nothing good going on Snapchat. You should be on the Stash app, okay? You should be on money-making apps. Next red flag is if he says his phone dies and he just doesn't text you back all night long. There's a reason. He's busy, okay? Like, anytime that a guy's phone dies or he says that it dies, it's always suspect. Like, you are a grown man. Take a phone charger. Probably what happened is that he just lied and turned off his phone so that he could get into some trouble. Third red flag for 2025 dating, they have a super active Instagram. 2025, an Instagram guy, it's a walking red flag. Entertaining girls. I want a guy that doesn't even know how to use Instagram. Barely knows how to post a story. Because if they're worried about Instagram, they're worried about the next chick that they're gonna try to pull from Instagram. And they're not someone to take serious.
Here's my top 3 red flags in a man that I will never ignore again. My first red flag is something that I actually used to love, and it's being love bombed. Okay. That is so embarrassing. I used to think being love bombed was so like, oh, he likes me. Like, of course he just likes me a lot. Like, of course he just wants to be with me. Of course he's ready to marry me. Why wouldn't you be ready to marry me? No, it's a red flag. Being love bombed does not mean that they just like you so much and that they want to be with you. Being love bombed is usually a sign of lack of emotional intelligence, I should say. Typically, guys that love bomb you are going to get bored of you just as quickly as they thought they were going to marry you. Generally, men that love bomb you don't actually know that they're love bombing you. They think that they really, really like you. Like, they actually believe that they want to marry you tomorrow. And that's why you have to be so careful, because anyone who gets that excited about anyone that quickly and is so sure just based off of like how you look or the first couple sentences you text back and forth to each other that they like you so much and that they want to be with you so much, they're going to change their mind just as quickly. I promise you, I promise you, I promise you, it happens every single time. Happens every single time. My second red flag is when a man doesn't have a business mentality at all, and that doesn't have to mean that like he has money. It's not about the amount of money that somebody has. It's about somebody's goals and where they see themselves going and what are they doing in their life right now to be able to get them to those goals. So if a man is not like a full-time student or working a full-time job or working on some type of side hustle, or even just like if they're not in the position to be able to do that right now, they know that as soon as they get that opportunity, what they want to be doing. Like, they know that there's something bigger to life. They know that they want to be wealthy, they want to be successful, they have goals, dreams, aspirations, visions, can talk business, can talk money. Business mentality, that's a must for me. If we can't sit and have a conversation about business, making money, what we want to do with our lives, what kind of businesses we're going to start together, I just can't relate with you. My third one is catching a man in any type of lie during the situationship talking stage, because I'm the type of person who's very, very open, and if you're with me, we're going to be having a lot of like deep conversations about life and our history and our past and our traumas and things like that, and I'm very honest and I will tell you everything that there is to know about my life. And if we're sitting here having these conversations and you're not being honest with me, and it comes up later that we had conversations around a topic and you lied to me about it, especially if there's just no reason to lie, like it's something I would have understood or whatever, that's a red flag. Because if you're gonna lie about something in the beginning when we're getting to know each other and we're just trying to determine if like we're the type of people that we even want to be involved in, why are you lying? Why are you lying? I'm a firm believer if you're gonna lie about something small, you're gonna lie about something big, and I don't do well with lying because I've learned to be a very honest person. If you're not going to be able to handle the truth in the beginning, you're not going to be able to handle the truth in the rest of the relationship. I was in a relationship where I literally just like could not tell my boyfriend anything because I knew he was just going to spaz out about everything, and it was just awful. So if you can't take the truth and you can't tell the truth, I don't want to be involved with you. Those are my top 3 things that like I have ignored in the past, and they really bothered me, and I continue to just like push through them. And every single one of those relationships clearly failed because I'm single right now. I'm just never gonna tolerate that behavior ever again, and neither should you. Okay?
Red flags when it comes to dating men. Number 1, if he pays for someone to come and clean his house, but because he does that, makes an absolute disgusting mess of his living space, that's a huge red flag. Guys like that think they can pay anyone to do anything. Number 2, if he wears low-rise socks. This one is just, I don't fuck with the ratio going on. It doesn't look good on anybody. I'm sorry to break the news, guys. Stop doing that. Number 3, if he thinks he can do anything. If he thinks he will be good at anything he tries out for the first time, might be a narcissist. This one is one of the biggest ones. If you ever say no to something and in a few weeks' time the same thing you said no to gets brought up again and he's seeing if you'll say yes this time, run. If he talks any kind of shit about his exes, and most specifically if he makes fun of what his exes looked like. If he has no female friends that he has not slept with, and or absolutely no male friends. If he takes a lot of selfies. I personally will never date another guy in any kind of metal, punk, or rock band, because if he makes any kind of jokes at your expense, probably not worth continuing to see him. Now, this last one is like super oddly specific, but guys who do not do dishes, guys who don't own dishes, guys who only eat off of paper plates and drink out of plastic cups and use plastic cutlery. Not only is that just laziness, but they probably view you as a disposable thing too.
A big red flag that I see in men is when they go to the gym and they don't re-rack their weights and just simply don't have gym etiquette. I think it's very telling and says a lot about a person when they don't re-rack their weights, especially when they're using all the 45 plates in the gym and leave it on their machine. It tells me that he's willing to inconvenience other people and wants other people to clean up after him. So imagine how he's going to inconvenience you, right? These types of men are selfish and don't think about other people. They don't care. They're lazy. And I think that goes beyond the gym. These kinds of men probably don't put their shopping carts back and don't wash their ass crack. It's musty. It's giving shrimp dick energy. And if you're dating a guy like this, you should get the ick, girl.
If you're in a talking stage with a guy or even in a relationship with a guy and he does any of these things, literally sprint, run for the hills, and break up with him. Some of these are going to be very obvious, but sometimes when you're in the situation, it does not feel obvious, so I'm going to say them anyway. If he gaslights you anytime you go to him with a problem or anytime you're upset, literally run. There is truly nothing worse than a man that doesn't know how to communicate properly and turns everything into a problem when you're already upset. Communication and emotional maturity is such an important thing when it comes to relationships and men in general. Every time you're upset and you're going to him and it turns into a huge argument, literally leave. We are not dealing with that. If he does not make effort with you in general and doesn't show interest in your interests, that is a huge red flag. This is supposed to be like your best friend and life partner, and if they are literally showing zero interest in anything that brings you joy, they don't like you. Trust me, they don't like you. If they are not planning dates, if they're not making time for you, if they're not responding to you in a reasonable time frame, like even texting, what do we think this is? I can literally get more effort from ChatGPT. Like, you're out the door. The right man will show interest in things you are interested in and want to learn about them because he genuinely cares about you and wants to learn more about things that you like. He will make time and make an effort to talk to you and see you, not just when it's convenient for him. If he ever, even once, calls you any kind of disrespectful name when he's upset or arguing with you, literally block him. Don't even say bye. Just block him and never see him again. Trust me, it will not change. It will only get worse, and you do not deserve that. Another huge thing is how he speaks about you to others when you're not around. If you could be a fly on the wall to conversations when you're not there and he's speaking about you and complaining and being disrespectful, that is literally the biggest ick and the biggest turn off. I would never speak about someone I truly cared about and loved disrespectfully behind their back because that is just gross and not acceptable. I feel like some of those might have been obvious, but let me know if you guys want a part 2.
These are my red flags in men. As a qualified candidate, I can't speak on this. So let's start. I get that there's guy influencers and they have to post every day and they have to update their platforms and whatever. Okay, I'm not talking about them. Men specifically who have Instagram highlights labeled me. Okay, men over 21 who still wear skinny jeans. I don't know what the science behind this one is. I just have never met a grown man who wears skinny jeans that isn't toxic. Their jeans might just be a little bit too tight and that's why they're always mad or angry or upset. I don't know. Men who don't wear condoms because they don't like how it feels. That man does not care about you or your safety or your health or your well-being or any of you. This isn't just for couples that started dating. This is like long term. Obviously, if you just started dating, you want to protect against STIs, against infections. You want to keep your girl clean and healthy. If you don't plan on having kids, stay protected. I know that you don't want to go through 9 months of carrying someone's kid that you might have not even wanted just because he didn't like how it felt. He doesn't care about you. Leave that man and strap up. Men who call women females. Self-explanatory. I don't feel like I have to say anything else. When women are talking about suffering and pain and inequality, and the man's go-to line is always, well, men suffer too. Men suffer in silence. That's why you don't hear about it. If you feel that deeply about it, maybe speak up about it, and not just when women are talking about their issues and their struggles.
Here's a list of 10 red flags to notice early on when talking to a guy. Number 1, if he talks badly about his exes. If every ex is crazy and toxic or obsessed with him, he's not healed. He's rewriting his story to look like the victim, and one day he'll be telling the same story about you. Number 2, if he's love bombing you right off the bat. If he's calling you his soulmate within the first week, it's not romance, it's manipulation. I think real connections take time. Fast intensity equals a fast burnout. Number 3, if he avoids defining the relationship. If he's acting like your boyfriend but then says labels ruin things, or he doesn't want to label, he's just stringing you along. A grown man would communicate his intentions. Number 4, if he's making any subtle backhanded jokes about you. If he's doing a lot of backhanded compliments or making comments about your body or your goals, that's very passive aggressive control and also comes off as jealousy, and he probably wants to be you. So pay attention to what he laughs at. Okay, number 5, if he has a bad relationship with his mom, his sisters, or any woman at all. He's constantly disrespecting or resents the woman in his life. Trust, he won't be treating you any different for long. Okay, number 6, if he can never take accountability for anything. He's always the victim, nothing's ever his fault. That's emotional immaturity. He can't own up to the small stuff, he'll never take responsibility in the relationship either. 7, if you leave conversations feeling confused. He talks in circles, twists your words, or makes you question your gut, that's gaslighting 101. Healthy people bring clarity, not confusion. Number 8 is if he's overly private or secretive with his phone. Privacy is fine, but like panicking when you go near his phone or flipping his phone over or taking calls outside, that's not private, that's a little suspicious. That's a little weird. Number 9, if he guilt trips you for having boundaries. He gets upset at you for saying no or tries to make you feel bad for saying no. He doesn't have respect for you or your boundaries. Number 10 is if his actions never match his words. So if he says he likes you but never makes time, or constantly says he respects you but disrespects your boundaries, pay attention to his actions, not his words.
Here's some immediate red flags in any talking stage or relationship. So if he does these, girls, run. Number 1, if he hides his best friends list on Snapchat from you and like purposely tries to get you to not see it because he knows it's gonna make you upset, get out. If you ever confront him about the girls he Snapchats and he's like, what? I'm not gonna block all of them. Like what? We just send streaks. Like we just snap. It's not that big of a deal, because I promise you it actually is. The man that you are dating or talking to does not need to be Snapchatting a bunch of girls, especially if it's something you've talked about. If you ever confront him with a problem and he tries to flip it on you and like gaslight you into thinking that it's your fault for getting upset, tries to make you feel bad for getting upset in the first place, that's the biggest red flag. If he has Snapchat Plus, you meet any of his friends and they're not nice to you and he doesn't stand up for you or like say anything to defend you, that is so gross. This one should be obvious, but it's happened to me before and the guy didn't realize it was a red flag. But if he lets girls touch him in any form, I fully was dating a guy and this girl would come up to him and like touch his arm and he saw no problem with it. He would caress his arm. What? Okay, last but not least, this one's probably the biggest one. If he doesn't actually make an effort to make plans with you, says he's too busy or like he doesn't have time, that's just a basic ass excuse.
Top 5 red flags to never ignore. There are no exceptions on these. Do not ignore these. Starting out strong, number 1, has more than one baby mama. He made the mistake once, repeated the pattern, you're next. Do not ignore this. And to piggyback on that, none of them are crazy. None of them are crazy. He is, in fact, the crazy one. 2, he is a constant victim. Okay, this type of man should be studied. Okay, this is the type of man who everything happens to him. He is not the creator of these circumstances. Okay, he is the constant victim. You, in fact, will be his next victim. Okay, don't ignore this. 3, and I actually covered this in a recent videos. He's cheap. Okay, if he's cheap, stay far away. This is a character flaw. Okay, if he's cheap, likely he's cheap with you. He will not be for his dream girl, okay? But that being said, being cheap is a character flaw. Do not ignore this. Also, not to be confused with being frugal. We're in a recession. Know the difference, use common sense. 4, and I actually feel like I should have made this higher on the list, his family can't stand him, okay? To quote Seinfeld, can't stand ya. Like, if his family can't stand him, it is for a reason. They've been around him for years, decades even, okay? They've seen him, they know the real him. If his family can't stand him, this is one of the biggest red flags. Usually your family loves you unconditionally, and they probably do love him because let's be honest, you just like happen to love them even if they're bad people. But if you can't stand them and you can like physically see that there is tension in that household with family, run. Also, I think my eye makeup is really off, but this lip combo, girlies, it's giving. Comment if you want it. Finally, 5, if you go out to a bar or a nightclub and the bouncer, the bartender, and all of the staff know him by name, you need to run. This is not to be confused with a restaurant or a nice lounge where he happens to be a frequent patron. These are acceptable places. He may just visit the restaurant a lot. Maybe he doesn't cook, okay? But a bar, a club, or like basically any outdoor place where there's a lot of drinking, you know what I'm saying? A lot of drinking and a lot of girls, okay? They know him because he is constantly perusing for more prey, okay? Red flag, red flag, red flag. If the man, your man, any man has checked off any of these red flag boxes, please understand you need to run, okay? I do not care how much you like him. I don't care. I don't care. These will bite you in the ass every single time. I love you.
Hey guys, let's get ready together while we talk about red flags and guys. I'm the worst at looking at the best in people, so these are some red flags that I've noticed in like literally every single guy that I've spoken to, dated, or liked. I'm gonna do a lot of these off of the top of my head just because there's so many that I've ignored, but if your man does any of these, he has to go. I think one of the biggest red flags I've ever ignored, and actually multiple guys that I've dated, is them calling me names when we argue. There is absolutely zero reason for a man to be calling you the B word ever, much less like when you are communicating. That is one of my personal biggest pet peeves. I literally hate that. That kind of leads me into my second thing when it comes to arguing. If they're like skewing everything that you're saying to like make you feel bad about the way that you feel, crazy. Absolutely not. I have had so many guys in my life do that, and I end up apologizing, and that's not right. You should never apologize for how you feel about things. Maybe that is just my opinion, but absolutely not. I'm never dealing with that again. I've met a lot of guys who have always said like, oh my gosh, like you're so different. You're not like other girls. My ex was so crazy. Da 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 da. Pack it up. No. I feel like there has to be specific reasons or like circumstances for this kind of like comment about women, but next thing you know, when y'all are done, you're gonna be the crazy one. So for next thing, when it comes to disrespecting women, if they're disrespectful to their mom, you're next. I have dated a couple guys who have been disrespectful to their parents, especially their moms, which I'm like, that gives me the biggest ick. I can't do it. Okay, next, I would say shit-talking my friends, much less my roommates. Hannah, Taylor, if you're watching this, you know exactly who I'm talking about, and you know exactly what he said, so. But if they're shit talking your friends, your girlfriends, your parents, literally you shit talking anything that has to do with you, cut it. Like, no. My friends are like one of the most important things in my life, like next to like my parents and my family. And so disrespecting them, I'm like, I'm never doing that again. Next, job, career, or even an idea of what they want to do is one of my biggest icks, because why am I making more money than you and you're a man? I don't know. And if they don't have a career or an idea of what they want to do, a major or anything, that gives me the biggest ick. Because why am I, as a woman, making more money than you? I have no problem with being the breadwinner. I love working. I love making my own money. I love buying myself stuff. But also as a man, your job is to provide. I have super traditional values when it comes to that stuff. So it's like, if you have absolutely no idea what you want to do, no. Okay, next to career is not caring about school and their grades. Also kind of connecting that into your work ethic. If you can't get up and go to class at like 9 a.m. on like a Tuesday, how do you expect him to provide for your family? Let that sink in, because what? And I'm not trying to say that as in like it's bad to skip class, because I'm definitely guilty of that. I think I skipped one class this semester, but that's because I was literally sick, and then one of my other in-person classes I had perfect attendance. It's kind of like in a matching way. Like if you're not matching me and my work ethic, like why am I associating with you? Because we should be matching. We should be putting in equal effort, and as a man you should be putting in even more. Again, just my opinion. If they don't like kids, and I'm not saying like they're obsessed with kids or whatever, but it's like, I know I personally want to have kids when I'm older, so it's like when I meet a guy and he's like, yeah, I don't want kids, and I'm like, ooh, it's a little crazy. And I'm not saying at like my age you have to know, but I feel like you should have a general idea. And for me personally, I want to have a family when I'm older. That's much of a, less of like a red flag, but more of a preference, and so I'm not gonna date or communicate with anybody who doesn't have the same values as me. On the topic of values, if a man is only Christian when it's beneficial to him, please run. And I'm saying only in the way that like holding religion over your head, or the way that you feel it not being biblical enough for their view, I think is absolutely insane. I dated this guy and he kind of only talked about God when I was like bringing up something or I felt a certain way, and he's like, well, God wouldn't want this, God wouldn't want that. Do you even know what God wants? Because you don't follow him. And it's like they pretend to be like this overly godly person. You can't hide behind religion your entire life, much less have a man in your life who does that. Cut it. No, absolutely not. Lastly, this is a red flag for me personally, but not unfollowing girls that you've been with or dated previously before you met me. I know for me that when I meet a guy and like we're dating and talking, I don't talk to other guys, especially ones that I used to do stuff with, dated, talked to, or literally anything. With friends, it's totally different. I'm all about having friends of the opposite gender. I think everyone should have friends of the opposite gender, but there's obviously like levels to that, and if y'all want me to get into that, eventually I will. But I know for me personally, why would I want to have a guy in my life that's still obsessed with all the other girls that he had sex with before me? I'm so good on that. Speaking of following girls, no following Instagram models, no following OnlyFans models. I hate that. This also kind of leads into another thing. I hate when men watch porn. Maybe that's an unpopular opinion. Me personally, with my values, I hate that. I think it's extremely lustful and disgusting. So any guy who does that is like immediately off of my radar. I remember this one time, it was my friend's birthday, and I caught one of my exes like watching it after I told him that I hated it, and then he tried to lie to me and everything. Oh my gosh, I remember it like it was yesterday. That's the biggest red flag, is when a man doesn't match your values, especially after you already told him kind of everything that you like. These are solely based on my opinion, what I've ignored, what I've seen from my previous relationships. But if your man does any of these and you agree, run, babe. There's a man out there for you, the perfect man that's going to follow and enjoy your presence and is going to want to serve you and walk the ground you walk on, and, you know, all in due time. But I'm waiting for the perfect one. So, just want to let you know. Anyway, I love you guys so much. Bye.